Yeah, thanks for.
It's all good. It's all good. How's it
Edit
going?
I
that
was just
in.
gonna
How's it
say
going,
thanks for
guys?
having us
Yeah,
on, man. Appreciate it.
it's
Definitely,
going
yeah.
Very
good.
good.
So, I guess the first thing I'm gonna ask is basic question, like, how did you guys all get together and form the band?
You want to take this, Chris, or
Or
you
Yeah,
you
yeah.
you
sure.
have
I was
the
I was
you
thinking
have the
Scott
deck.
wanted to take it
Oh,
actually.
That's funny.
Okay,
I can
cool.
I can take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, get it going.
So basically the whole band kind of started with me and Chris meeting in high school, and he had a different project before called Skaldic, and we just wanted to make a band. So at one point,
The
Chris,
project was Skaldic. It wasn't. It's not Skoldic. It's
okay,
like
whatever.
S. It's like S K
I was in the
L
band and
D
you
I C.
weren't.
Hey,
Yeah,
it's my
You weren't in the
fucking
band at the time.
project.
I know. I'm just clarifying.
Yeah, it was a skull dick, as in like skull dick.
No.
All
No.
right. Anyway, so me and Chris, like Chris went on some forum and we were looking for a drummer, and then Conrad was the first guy to reply, so we met up with him and started making music and just sort of hashed things out for years and sort of tried to figure out the kind of style of music that we wanted to create. And then after a while, we got a second guitar player, and he did the first EP that we did, like
Yeah.
recorded with us, and then
Shout
that
out to
didn't work.
Sam.
Yeah, Sam. And then that didn't work out after a while. And then Steve was already a buddy of ours before, and we asked him to do it, and he was willing. So that's how we got here.
Wow. Okay. And what about the name of the band? Like, how did you come up with the band name?
It's just a word that I knew because of like reading the Odyssey. Like it's
Okay, yeah.
in that it's Circe's potion that turns Homer's crew into swine. I just thought it was a cool sounding word. So it also has a meaning of potion of forgetfulness. So I felt like that
Oh,
kind of went in with some of the themes of the band, so we just went with that.
wow.
Drinking
That's pretty
potion of
awesome.
forgetfulness right now.
Exactly.
and, and who were some of the bands that you guys loved listening to growing up? Like some bands that inspired you to want to play and
Well,
I
I'd
mean,
say
we
for this band in particular, like we have a wide spectrum of interests
Big
between
time.
all of us, and we all like different things. But like stylistically, what inspired us as a band was mainly a band from around here called Woods of Ypres. Like we took a lot from them and Agalloch and lots of other bands in that sort of style. But I'd say those two at the very start were the main inspirations for us stylistically.
Yeah, when the
yeah,
band
like that's our
was.
main shared.
You go. You go.
That's our main shared interest as a band. Like we all love black metal. I would say, like,
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
whole.
Yeah, when the band started initially with Chris, he was writing a lot of the music, but then Conrad and Scott joined, and now it's flipped over actually. And so Conrad and Scott actually writes the majority of the music, and then Conrad writes all the lyrics. But Scott will come with ideas and we'll at band practice, and then he'll basically ask us like, "What do you guys think about this?" And we'd be like, "This is cool. That's cool. But like, do you maybe want to put this riff maybe after that or this or that?" And so like Scott definitely writes the majority of the music, but like we all kind of give our input where we can in terms of like maybe we should just like do something a little differently.
We jam it out.
nice.
We
Yeah,
jam
exactly.
everything
Yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. We're a jam band. We're like the Grateful
Yeah,
Dead
yeah, we a
of
jam
Yeah.
black
band.
metal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. And I know like a lot of people say like all different thing like for your style of music like from like goth rock to black metal to folk, like what kind of sound would would you guys say is the sound for your band now?
I would say like if you're described like the both EPs, it'd just be like kind of like atmospheric black metal. But there's also just like
Yes.
there's so many influences of different styles within those songs as a whole. So it's
Yeah.
kind of hard
There's
for us
definitely
to put.
influences of like post-punk here and
Yeah.
there. But like that, I feel like it would be, if what going off of what Chris was saying, it'd be like atmospheric black metal with mixes of like post-punk and doom metal.
Yeah.
And like when you're getting ready to write a song and write lyrics and write music for the song, like how do you get into a mind frame? Like what do you do to like say, all right, this is the sound I want, these are the lyrics that I want?
I wouldn't say it's like really much of a thought at all. It's just sort of whatever comes out, you try it out, and if it works, it's great. If not, then you just move on to the next thing. There's no like stylistic intent with anything. It's just whatever we come up with.
Yeah,
Like
there's
a
like
lot.
an unspoken kind of agreement on what the sound should be, but like it's not very, it's not so simple as to like, this is what the sound is. It's more of just
Yeah.
like, okay, this riff that you've come up with, is it within the confines of the sound that we're going for? And for the most part it is, because like Scott's writing a lot of it and Conrad does write songs as well, so like the music, we all have this like kind of similar idea. And so when we're like saying stuff like maybe you should put this riff here or there, stuff like that, we're all still thinking of like what the sound of Nepenthe is rather than what we want individually. But at the same time, they're both hand in hand. It's the exact same thing. What Nepenthe sound is what we want individually for the most part.
Yeah.
Because we understand our roles.
Like the second song off the new EP is like it's not a black metal song at all. It's like a straight up like almost cinematic like neo folk song.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's still like we would say it still sounds like the band.
Yeah.
But it's like
It
in a
was-
completely different like musical style than what we normally would write for the band.
It's sort of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like an extended version of like what some of our quiet parts would be, but maybe a little more in depth.
It was kind of like an exercise of writing something from like our non-metal influences. Like we all love like neo folk and like some orchestral
Acoustic
music, that sort of
guitars
thing.
and stuff
So
like that. Like
yeah, like we wanted to write
hymns,
something that's
or at least the sound of
like
hymns.
yeah, I guess that's a good way of putting it.
Nice.
It's mainly
You know-
instrumental too, and oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say it's very instrumental. We just wanted the atmosphere to come through. There's vocally there's only some spoken word parts really. Like that's the whole song. But it's like one of my favorites on the release, to be honest. So
Nice. And I have to say, Steven, every time like your video comes up, I keep seeing the poster of the family guy hanging up. I'm like, oh wow, look at that.
Yeah. Oh man, I love it. It's just, I love Family Guy. We're gonna say it.
We like
no,
our
it's great.
stupid
that's
shit.
I think it's shared influence.
Like
Yeah,
we,
big
we
time.
take our music very seriously, but we do not take ourselves very seriously.
Yeah, I was watching some new Family Guy the other day, and I'm thinking about getting a tattoo of Joe Swanson.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
We all support this idea too.
Yeah.
And Conrad, like this question's for you. Like when when you're live, like when you're doing shows and singing live, like is there anything you do for your voice, like for the live shows? Like I know some people like don't like to talk or like drink hot tea with lemon. Like is there something you do for your voice?
He just gets real awkward and then just like thinks about it. I'm just kidding.
I don't go too crazy with it, but at the very minimum, I try and hydrate, and I do vocal warm-ups before every show too, because I think it's insane not to, if you're doing harsh vocals and you're not even clean vocals too, if you're not even doing a vocal warm-up, like you're just going to destroy your vocal cords in the long run. Like you really need to do that. It's for your long-term health. Like if I want to keep doing this decades into the future, I gotta make sure my voice is healthy, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And your new albums out like the and it's merged with the first one. And how did that all come about?
Well, it was basically just like combining those two EPs together, like time wise, really worked out for us putting onto it like vinyl and CD. It's more worthwhile for someone to buy something that actually has like a full album's worth of material on it. And like stylistically, both the EPs sort of come from the same place, so it didn't feel awkward putting them together. Like we talked to another guy earlier, and he said that he didn't even really think about it. Like from start to finish, he felt like it
Mhm.
felt cohesive. So yeah, it just worked out that way.
Okay. And what do you guys love about like your newest songs? Like what did you all love about making this?
I think it's satisfying to me because we're going in a bit of a different direction for our next release. So this EP, The Fading Promise of Tomorrow, was kind of a way of like tying off Elegies of Loss and Doom, because there was still a lot that we felt needed to be said and written for that stage of us being a band, I guess. So it's yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
guess it's the satisfaction of almost like closing that era.
yeah, and now we're doing everything like almost in camp where like Chris records everything. We're all like, we have that kind of tight knit community of the four of us kind of communicating between what we want for the sound on the recordings and the album and the EP and yada yada. So it was a very like, at least between the three of them, because I've come in late and stuff like that, witnessing it all, it like third, like from a different point of view, like they all were very extremely like they communicated all the time on what the sound was going to be like on the vinyl versus the digital. We needed to do some fading out parts for the vinyl, so it's like a bit of a different version for the vinyl, and so they were very like nitpicky about what was going on for the sounds, and so it's like that's kind of a good thing to see coming from outside point of view, and it's like a you know
Steve says an outside point of view, but he's been in the band for 2 years now. So
So
He was with us for this whole process.
yeah.
I know. I still just feel like, at least coming from the outside, like I have a at least quite a bit for the most part different kind of music style wise. Like I make a bunch of other type of music, and I don't
shut up,
particularly like
Scorn.
yeah,
Go to
yeah,
Scorn and Invicta.
yeah, and I don't particularly like um well, like they make a different style of music than I would normally make, and
Yeah.
they have the sound that they like started making, and I just don't want to change that. So I just try to add what I can when I can.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. And is there anything that inspired like writing this like the like new songs? Like, is there anything that inspired like what 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 you actually wanted to say through the songs?
That'd probably be a question for Conrad because he writes all of the lyrics and does the
Well,
majority of the singing. So
I'll answer part of that with this, which is like part a joke, part true. Just like we're miserable people at our cores, and this is just kind of what comes out for us. Like there's not always like a core intention of just like, oh, we want to have a sad song, we want to have a happy song, we want to have a doom
Yeah.
song.
yeah,
Is that we just write a song, and it turns out what it turns out to be. Um, Conrad writes his lyrics about like many different perspectives, whether it's more like an abstract idea or more of a speaking from like a personal experience. Um, but there's not there's not a whole lot of intent with what comes out for us. It's just kind of like this is what comes out naturally.
Yeah,
Okay.
there wasn't really any there was no like
There's no goal in mind.
yeah
there's
there
no
wasn't a
like
specific thing that inspired any of the music really. It's just yeah, as
it's just
Chris
what
said,
we
I
want to
just
do. We want to make
yeah.
music, and then we just ended up, we're all buddies, and we all ended up being in this group, and so it's like, let's make some music.
Nice, nice. And when you go on tour and start playing live shows, like, is there any song that you're looking forward to playing live from the new songs?
I'd say it's
For me it's probably my favorite one to play is actually the cover Time by Of
Yeah,
the
same
Wand.
here.
Yep.
I just really like that song. It's all clean vocals. I like clean vocals.
Yeah, I'm doing some singing live now, and I'm like, that's one of the heavier vocal ones for the harmonies, and so I'm doing my best to like try and work on that, so it's fun to play live and like try and do something new.
It was just really fun to arrange as well. I really like arranging music. So yeah, it was, I don't know, I guess it's nice to play something that you didn't write, I guess.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
It's a nice break.
If people don't like you, you'll be like, well, I didn't write it.
Yeah, not our song.
Exactly.
Blame Kim Larson of The Wand and the Moon.
Exactly.
Nice. And I mean, from having the band and doing like a bunch of live shows and touring, is there any funny road stories that any of you have?
I don't.
We're
I
all
wouldn't
pretty
say
like I would say for the most part, we're all pretty tame and like out of each other's way for the most part. There hasn't been anything, and we've never had like a breakdown of a car on the road or anything like that. Like we've been pretty
We've
lucky
been
so
lucky so
far.
far.
Yeah. There's been no crazy stories other than
the
the
craziest
one.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah, the
Sam,
one.
go ahead.
So I was just gonna say the one show I wasn't actually playing that show because I was away for that. So like they can sometimes play shows without me, or we have a fill-in. Anyways, so they were gonna play this one show in, where was it, Montreal, and then something happened with the owner. I guess Chris, tell the rest of the story.
Oh, I was gonna say, we had a vehicle break in when we were playing down in Windsor over
no.
last
Yeah.
Yeah,
January.
Actually,
that
I
wasn't
forgot about
funny
that.
at all, though.
That's
Yeah,
probably
that
the
was
worst
just
thing
like-
that
that just-
out of my
just
mind. I
pissed
pushed
us
that out of my
off.
mind.
Yeah.
My shit was
Um,
stolen from a buddy's car. I pushed that out of my mind. I didn't even remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a venue in Montreal that we were supposed to play, and it got canceled because the venue owner was like assaulting people at shows and like
Oh
sexually
my
harassing
God.
people at shows
Yeah.
and shit like that. So it got moved to a different location instead of getting canceled.
Mhm.
But there's like there hasn't really been like anything like drastically funny bits, because a lot of it is just like us not trying to step on each other's toes just
Just
because
get
we all
down
need
the
our
road.
space. Just like get
Yeah,
on the road,
exactly, yeah.
get miles down. Very much
Mhm.
goal oriented of just like, let's get fucking through this so we can go home.
Yeah, we're all focused on playing good and like doing our parts and like trying to make
Yeah.
everything as organized as it can be with what we can do. So
Like,
We're
yeah,
not,
we're
like-
hanging out and shit, but
we're
not
really
crazy
not effing
partiers,
around too
though.
much. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
like we're not doing lines off of some hooker's tits or shit like that when we're on the road.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, we're pretty like,
A, we don't have the funds for it, and B, we're probably just wouldn't do that anyways.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Wholesome lads.
Yeah.
I just think before I do something, I'm always thinking, what if my grandma was here?
Right?
I don't
Yeah.
think
Exactly.
that at all.
I wanna
exactly.
see-
Before
Do I
everything
want to
that I
say
do-
what I
yeah,
did
yeah,
to my
yeah.
grandma?
Yeah.
I don't have to explain to my dear old grandma that I was being a degenerate.
Exactly.
That's
Nobody
a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. And what do you guys love most about like touring and being live on stage?
I would just say playing different cities that we've had like really played most of Southern Ontario and like our area, and it's been nice to like venture into more unfamiliar territory for us, and just being
Yeah,
able just to see different music scene cultures
Yeah,
from
and
around has
meeting
been
new
really nice.
people.
yeah,
Meeting other bands that are like minded and stuff like that, and like we've like some are like our closest friends outside of the band like are these guys called Hell's Other People down in Windsor, and they also just put out an album this year that can't
shout
wait
out to
to
Boots and
shout out to
Hell's
Boots and
other
Nathan.
people.
Yeah, all those guys. But
Yeah,
like
everybody.
we just did like a couple shows with them, and like we became like really good friends with all of them, and like
Nice.
even Boots, he runs a studio down in Windsor, and he did the drum editing for the new release.
We've stayed at Boots' house before.
Yeah,
Like
we've
his name's Nathan. His nickname's Boots, and like we've stayed at his
yeah.
place before, just like playing shows and stuff like that. And he's just like the chillest guy. So
Yeah, it's like people like that, meeting people like that, and like creating these friends and like contacts from around the place, around Canada, and it's just growing and growing. And I personally really love that.
yeah, and also too, like playing live. Like I really love just like nailing it when we make the song sound good. It's
Yeah,
nice. So when the atmosphere is right, we got all the fog going and everything. Like it's just
yeah,
it's a nice vibe. Like it really is. Like when we nail it and when everything is perfect, like we're somewhere
Oh,
else
there's
different. It's
nothing
a
like
new
it.
environment. Like,
yeah.
yeah, there really isn't. Like it's some of the cool with any band that I've played. Like I just love playing live. It's such a good experience and just nailing the tunes that you've made, you know?
And what would be your go-to karaoke song if you guys were gonna sing karaoke?
Oh,
Oh,
I would never sing karaoke.
I would sing right now. I would sing the song Maniac by what's his name? So you know the song, She's a
Oh
Maniac.
yeah, yeah.
Maniac. I would sing that one
I've
because I
also
really like
seen
that one.
Steve nail it to Limp Bizkit break stuff.
That was a good night. That
I've
was a
seen
good
him
night.
nail it several times and getting
I
the
love
whole entire
karaoke.
place going.
I would sing. I did Willie Nelson one time. I did On the Road Again. That was really good.
Nice.
That was really
Oh,
good.
I've seen Conrad
my
do Hip to Be Square.
Yeah, that
That's
was
sick.
really
I have a
funny.
lot
I
of
didn't
good
say that's sick.
karaoke moments. Maybe that video will surface someday. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
My best time though, I sang "Break Stuff" by Limp Bizkit at a
Oh yeah,
Japanese karaoke bar,
nice.
and this like plastered Japanese salary man, he just walked up to me after and he was like, "You have rock and roll hip hop spirit."
That's
That made me
great.
feel so good.
I didn't know that. That's
I've
great.
never had a better compliment in my life.
Oh, I love
Conrad
it.
and I need to do a karaoke duet. That would be great. We need to do
Oh
something.
yeah, definitely. Nice.
Love karaoke.
Dude, me too.
Love it.
Yeah, same. Like I'm a big fan of that karaoke at a bar.
What's you got a favorite karaoke song? What's your
I
what's your go-to?
actually do. I don't know if you guys follow wrestling at all, but I'm a big fan of Chris Jericho's band, Vazi. And
no.
they
No
I don't think
shit.
I
do the
recall.
That's
song
something else.
Judas.
I didn't know that. Like
I always
that's
forget he has a band.
Which
that's
song?
that's I didn't know that existed. That's crazy.
Yeah, his band is actually really good,
Hmm.
and yeah, one of the songs his band does, I I like doing, and it's pretty fun.
Nice, man.
And this has nothing to do with songs and music, but I'm a big horror fan, and I always ask guests this: are there any horror films that you guys like watching?
Oh, best one. A few of us saw it together recently. It was Videodrome by
Oh my God,
David
yes, I
Cronenberg.
remember
I
that.
didn't watch it.
That's some.
I'm not.
It's Canadiana as well. Like he's a Canadian. It was filmed in Toronto, so it's a really good bit of Canadian film. I also
Mhm.
love Ichi the Killer and other
Yes,
Takashi Miike films. Yeah, I love that.
yes.
He's my favorite director, actually. I
Yeah.
guess it's like thriller horror. It's not necessarily
Hmm.
fully horror, but it's in there. I'd say, but yeah, I love Takashi Miike. He's like I said, my favorite director. I think
Oh yeah, he's great. Like those movies are sick that he does.
literally and figuratively sick.
Literally sick.
I'm the least familiar with horror, but I do like The Evil Dead. I just watched that recently again
The
with
Evil
my
Dead,
girlfriend.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's my
Classic and-
favorite too.
Yeah. I don't know too much else about horror really. Like I didn't grow up. I haven't watched too many horror films. So
I think the last horror movie I saw was, well, I guess it would be Videodrome if you want to call it that. But Terrifier 2 I saw.
Oh
in
my
theaters.
God.
that was
Those are
great.
sick movies.
That
too.
was good.
that was hilarious.
That was
I
so funny.
loved that movie. And
Yes.
we all saw that.
We
in
just
the
had a
theaters
group of
together.
buddies at the back of
Yeah.
the theaters, and we were just like hoot and
Losing
holler
it.
in the
It
whole
was
entire
great.
time.
Yeah, that was an awesome movie. I really liked that. That was a good bridge between like maybe a lot of people didn't see it, but that was a great bridge between comedy and horror for me. Like that was
Oh my
awesome.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, oh my God, that scene in Terrifier 2 with Art the clown with the girl in her room, the bedroom scene.
Everything, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
and
was so
at the
good.
store, like when he's popping up out of nowhere, and it's just the faces he does. It's like terrifying, but as the movie is, but like it's good. It's hilarious. Like
I know, right?
It's jokes.
That's my favorite too. I love when there's like black comedy mixed in.
Mhm.
I guess
Yeah,
that's why I
yeah.
like Takashi Miike so much. He does that a lot too.
Nice. Yeah, horror's great. I love it.
Hell yeah.
And I guess the last question I'll ask you guys is, where could fans listen to the new songs and follow the band at?
Chris.
You can find us on Bandcamp, Spotify, all the streaming services at Nepenthe. Instagram, social medias, it's nepenthe.doom. You can also check out our label High Throw Records. They'll
That's
have
that would be the best place right now. The Hype Throw Records Bandcamp. That's where
the album drops tomorrow. So the new EP will be fully available, and the remaster of the original EP will also be available. Just on Bandcamp, the new EP will be available on all the streaming services. Our old EP is going to be on there with the original master. And then you can always just send us a DM and to the band page and reach out and find best ways to listen to us or to buy physical merchandise from us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's something else to bring up. I'm not sure when this episode's going to be coming out, but anyone who is in Southern Ontario, we have EP release shows tomorrow, this Friday, so tomorrow and Saturday. So if you want to pick up the record or a CD, then that's the best way to do it. Just come out to the shows.
But we'll be hitting the road again next year, probably in the springtime or the summertime, and we'll probably be doing some more lengthy Canadian dates as well.
Yeah, we're also playing songs that aren't released yet at these shows. So
that'll be on the upcoming album that we've yet to start
yes.
recording because we're still writing it. So we like to try songs out live before we give them the yay or nay.
Yes.
Nice. Well, I mean, if you guys are ever in Philly, that's where I live, so I'll definitely come out.
Oh, probably sometime in the future.
We'll definitely come down stateside of one of these days.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it was really nice meeting you guys. Thanks so much for doing the show and coming on. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us. It was a pleasure.
Nice meeting you too, Rocco. Thank you so much for having us.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Thank you. Well, we'll have a great day and have fun with your shows this weekend.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Definitely.
Have a good one, man.
Yeah,
all right, you too.